about the sugar space and the news that we got from sugar industry sources that prices of ethanol produced from C-Heavy Molasses have been increased from 49.5 rupees roughly per litre to close to 56.3 rupees per litre as well. How important is this and what does this do for the sugar sector at large? We have Atul Chaturvedi, who's the executive chairman of Shree Renuka Sugar, joining us now on the phone line. Mr. Chaturvedi, thank you for joining in. From what we gather from the flashes, it seems like a positive. What we don't know is how much of a positive is this. Largely what we want to understand is what is the split for a company like yours and the industry of ethanol making between C-Heavy Molasses and B-Heavy Molasses?
In fact, if you really look at the announcement, there has been no increase as far as cane juice or B-Heavy Molasses is concerned. And at 56.28 rupees, which seems to be the new rate, for C-Heavy Molasses, it makes eminent sense to divert more and more molasses into ethanol, C-Heavy Molasses. So I think it's definitely a welcome move, and it was expected also, because with cane juice and B-Heavy Molasses out of the picture, government's program would have suffered massively if the C molasses was not incentivized. So I think it's a welcome move, and it's a timely move by the government. So on a rough basis, 1 ton of molasses, you get about 250 liters of ethanol. So this would help divert a lot of molasses, which would have probably gone out. But we also are expecting that the government should ban the export of molasses from the country. When they have already banned the export of sugar, it doesn't make sense to allow molasses to go out of the country. The other day, we were listening to the food secretary at the ISMA conference, and they said that 25% of the molasses traded in the world, actually, the origin is India. So India is actually exporting ethanol. But now, with what we are listening is that duties might come in or export ban may come in. That should be still further positive for the sugar sector.
No, so as a sugar company and as an ethanol maker, could you tell us what could be the implications of this? Because there are so many moving parts here, right? There is cane, there's there's sugar and prices there itself, and of course there is ethanol. Could you tell us how the economics will work? One, of course, is the fact that government's ethanol program will not be derailed and that stays on track. But as a business, what does this mean?
No, it definitely means a lot, because whether we like it or not, cane juice and B-Heavy Molasses are no longer moving parts. They are closed parts as far as the sugar sector is concerned. The only moving part which was available and moving was C molasses, and that price has increased. In fact, whatever sugar we produce, about 4% of that is C molasses. So if, for example, like a company like Renuka, our normal crush is about 6 to 7 million tons. So out of that, 4% would be molasses, C molasses. And from that, you would get, on a per ton basis, about 250 kilos or liters of this C ethanol. So I think it's reasonably positive. And if the molasses export also is curbed, then definitely I think the distilleries would have adequate molasses to run, for sure.
Right.
Without affecting the sugar production of the country, because in any case, when you're making sugar, this C molasses will be made in the natural course. So you're not diverting any sugar, which is the government's objective as well. Yeah.
Okay. Could you clarify on what the other line from this news means, that there can be an offer of additional ethanol from C-Heavy against lapsed allocations of juice and B-Heavy ethanol, and they can also convert existing revised allocations of juice and B-Heavy ethanol for supply as C-Heavy. What exactly does this mean? Does this make make it better for you to do business? Does it make it worse? How do things stack up here?
No, in fact, now at 56.28 or thereabouts, and with B-Heavy Molasses closer to about 60 odd rupees, the delta between the two has shrunk big time. So I think more B-Heavy molasses being diverted into ethanol, or whatever stock people may be having, that might actually get converted, and the loss will be relatively muted because the price of C-ethanol has been increased and jacked up. So I think it's all positive.
And we understand that there is a likely news piece which will come by in the near future on B-Heavy Molasses as well. So do you expect prices of B-Heavy Molasses to be increased?
I'm not too sure about that as of now, but who knows? We keep on hearing too many things, but this one on the cane juice, on the C molasses was definitely on the cards, because unless and until they incentivized, the molasses would have flown out of the country. So
and
now, at this
ethanol
level,
itself?
I think, yeah, sorry?
And on ethanol itself, is there any expectation of a price change?
This is ethanol price change only, no? C ethanol.
Yep. So B-Heavy Molasses, you said that it will be increased, is it?
No,
Or
I
likely
did
to
not
be
say
increased?
that. I did not say that. B-Heavy, I said we are awaiting the government response. We are not sure whether B-Heavy price increase would happen in the near future or not. We are not sure about that. But yes, definitely C-Heavy we were expecting to be increased, to be suitably incentivized. So that has come about, and that's a welcome sign.
Mr. Chaturvedi, just a very basic question, sir. When you produce sugar or you sell ethanol, which is more profitable?
When we were making sugar from making ethanol from cane juice, our realization used to be in the region of about anything between 36 to 37 rupees sugar equivalent. And sugar prices also around that same level. So I would say when you're making it from the cane juice, it was more or less the same. But now that cane juice is out of the picture, and C molasses definitely price increase would definitely help in improving the profitability. And at 56, I think the realization from C-Heavy Molasses would be also closer to about 35 or 36 rupees sugar.
Round about the sugar realization, basically.
Yeah.
Roundabout.
Yes.
Okay, just one last question. Before this entire thing started, right, prohibiting cane juice, etc., and say, your earnings were an imaginary 100 rupees, there were estimates which said that, because sugar prices will drop and other companies also we spoke with, so there will perhaps be some earnings hit. Analysts who track the sector also estimated some earnings impact. Where is that 100 rupees now? I mean, are we back at 100 rupees? I'm just trying to understand the impact at a net level, or is it still too early?
No, I would say it's a little too early, but overall, we feel that the sugar prices would more or less remain at the same level, whether we like it or not. The fact remains that Maharashtra and Karnataka have suffered because of lower production. And with I think this C molasses is practically neutral. So in fact, we feel that sugar availability should not be an issue. Prices also may not collapse as somebody would have probably predicted earlier. It doesn't make sense. I would say prices would be probably remain range bound.
Okay, so 3 months back, what you thought your earnings would be for the full year, you'll probably end up there?
I should say so, yeah. In fact, we also have a revenue stream out of the exports from our refineries at the port. And the white premium, as we call it, which is the delta between crude and refined sugar, I think that has been reasonably good, and the markets have been pretty strong, and our exports have also been pretty strong. So overall, I think what we had predicted or anticipated, that should get achieved, or who knows, it might actually turn out to be slightly better as well. Who knows?
Okay, that last bit, of course, specific to Shree Renuka. I mean, the exports
you're right.
bit. But yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chaturvedi. It's a pleasure. Appreciate you joining in to talk about the company, of course, but telling us about the industry as well. So certainly a positive for the sector, not just in Maharashtra where Shree Renuka is, but of course for Uttar Pradesh-based players, etc. as well. And we'll try and talk to companies from UP as well to get their side of the their viewpoint on this particular matter. Stocks did see a bit of a spike right after the news came, but have since plateaued out and not really going anywhere after that. Yeah, Mangalam.
No, I just wanted to say that from the conversation that we had with him, the sense that one gets is that, yes, it is a step in the right direction, but does this erase all the expected losses from the previous regulation that came by, and as a result of which we saw a decline in the sugar prices? Perhaps not.
Actually, towards the end, he said